Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've gotten a lot of breaking dates today. And before we actually get into today's video, I really quickly just want to say that I'm very sorry that I haven't been able to upload these past couple of days. Unfortunately, my computer broke. I've managed to fix it now, but it's still very unstable, and at some stages it freezes, my computer freezes. So if you see any jittering in today's video, I apologize in advance. My computer has been pretty much been broken for 2 weeks and been trying to fix it, but it seems to be more stable than usual, so I am going to be recording this video. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's just get straight into the news. And today's news, we're going to be starting off between Thailand and Cambodia. So during the previous 3 days, a huge border conflict has erupted between Thailand and Cambodia. Clashes have broken out along the Thai and Cambodian border, with much of the fighting happening near the Thai-Cambodian temple. Right here on the border between Thailand and Cambodia. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see footage showing Cambodian rocket artillery in action, firing on Thai military positions. And the same goes for Thailand. Thailand has also responded by shooting at Cambodian positions. So both sides are actively shooting at each other, and there's been some reports of some troop movements into each other's land. So we've got reports that Thailand has actually managed to secure some hills at the Cambodian border, giving them a more advantageous position at striking. So let's just actually go over how we actually got here. So why is Thailand and Cambodia fighting? So there's multiple reasons, so I'll just go over the most recent one. So this shooting started happening on July the 23rd when a Thai soldier stepped on a newly laid landmines from Cambodia. One lost a leg, prompting accusations from Thailand that Cambodia is deliberately planting landmines at the border to try and potentially maybe kill Thai soldiers. And the next morning, after a Thai soldier stepped on newly laid Cambodian landmines, exchanges began near disputed areas on the Cambodian and Thai border, escalating into multi-zone confrontations along at least 12 border flashpoints. So since then, Thailand has deployed 6 F-16 jets for airstrikes on Cambodian military positions. Cambodia has used heavy artillery and BM-21 multi-rocket launchers, reportedly targeting Thai villages and sometimes civilians and installations near residential zones. There's been some allegations from Cambodia that Cambodia accuses Thailand of deploying cluster munition near civilian targets, raising human rights concerns. Also, Thailand and Cambodia have both withdrawn their diplomats and advisors, furthering a conflict between the two countries. So right now, we don't really know the exact border clashes updates in terms of deaths and casualties, but right now we've got news that Thailand confirms that it's killed at least 25 Cambodian troops so far in the fighting. Apparently 45 civilian casualties have been reported on both sides. There's been approximately 131,000 people that have been evacuated since the border conflict started. So very big news. And we've also gotten some reports that on some points on the border, we've gotten reports that there's some tank versus tank fighting between Thai M60 tanks and Cambodian T55 tanks. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, both sides are reinforcing their position with tanks, and there's been some reports that the tanks are actually fighting each other. So very interesting news. Thailand has also declared a state of emergency and martial law in the provinces actually bordering Cambodia. And right now, we've also got reports that Thailand and both Cambodia are actively reinforcing their checkpoints where fighting is currently not taking place. So one, Thailand is reportedly repositioning army tanks and M60A3 main battle tanks in this border town here near Krong Potapet, right here in the border. Thailand is deploying tanks and additional troops to the border, furthering conflict between the two countries. But at the current time of actually recording this video, we've just gotten some news that apparently Trump has officially stepped in to try and stop the Cambodian and Thai conflict. And according to the Prime Minister of Cambodia's official Twitter page, the Prime Minister of Cambodia announces positive news, according to this post here in the bottom left corner, for the armies and people of Cambodia and Thailand, that the Thai side has agreed to the US President's request for a ceasefire. So we've gotten reports that Donald Trump has officially had to step into this conflict, and apparently Trump has gotten the both sides to agree to a ceasefire. But even though a ceasefire is currently taking place, we've got reports that Thai and Cambodian hostilities intensify after Trump's ceasefire. So despite the mediated ceasefire, if you can see here in the bottom left corner, Thai troops are continuing to shell Cambodian territory, according to the Prime Minister of Cambodia, prompting the Cambodian army to respond. And that's all the news we've gotten from Cambodia today. And the next news we're going to be talking about today is coming from China. So we've got news that another round of Chinese live-fire amphibious drills have officially taken place across the Taiwanese Strait. So, in a video published by the Chinese Defense Ministry, it shows an amphibious armoured unit from a brigade under the People's Liberation Army's Eastern Theatre Command conducting a comprehensive tactical exercise and landing operation. So according to the Chinese Ministry of Defense, this amphibious landing focused on command and control, assault wave formation, obstacle crossing and breaching, and infantry coordination and air defense capabilities. So this is obviously a big show of force to Taiwan that China is getting ready for a possible confrontation with Taiwan, and China is preparing and practicing its amphibious crossing. So very interesting news. We've also gotten some reports today that Trump may be visiting China in September for a possible meeting with Xi Jinping and Putin. So reports are circulating that Trump could travel to Beijing in early September following an invitation from Xi Jinping, the president of China. But the only thing is that Putin might be attending as well. So at the Kremlin, officials said that they don't rule out the possibility of a Trump-Putin meeting if he visits China, if Donald Trump visits China. So interesting news. So a Trump visit to China and a face-to-face possible meeting with Putin appears to be on the table. So, interesting news. And while talking about Putin and Russia, we've also got news today that Russia launches massive naval drills across 4 seas. So Russia has just kicked off its July Storm naval drills exercises on Wednesday, involving over 150 warships and 15,000 personnel across the Pacific Ocean here, the Arctic Ocean near Greenland and Canada, the Baltic Sea, and also the Caspian Sea as well. So running from July the 23rd to July the 27th, the drills will test the Russian fleet's readiness for unconventional missions, long-range weapons, and advanced technologies, including drones, according to the Defense Ministry of Russia. So the ship's crews will practice deployment to combat areas, anti-submarine operations, and more than 150 combat ships and 120 aircrafts will be are participating participating in these naval exercises. So we can see here in your bottom left corner, we've gotten some footage from the July Storm operation exercises. So we can see here, we can see both the Northern Fleet of Russia in near Greenland and the Barents Sea conducting anti-air defense attack drills. We can see the Pacific Fleet also carrying out joint strike operations. And we've just gotten a lot of videos showing Russia using new technologies in their naval exercises. And one of the big things now is that Russia is now officially using drones in its naval exercises. So Russia's Baltic fleet goes unmanned. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, a kamikaze sea drone blows up a mock-up ship in a massive fireball. So Russia is also practicing and exercising its troops on the use of unmanned drones and naval drones. So very interesting news. And also, within this huge Russian naval exercises, there's already been some confrontation from some neighboring countries, and one is the Alaskan and Russian Strait. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see that the North American Aerospace Defense Command has published images today of American jets intercepting Russian squadrons near the Bering Strait, near Russia's Far East and Alaska. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see Russian Su-35s escorting Russian capable nuclear bombers, the Tu-95 MS bombers, and we can also see American F-35 fifth generation fighter jets and F-16s intercepting the Russian squadron. So we're probably going to be seeing some more of them these next couple days as well. So very interesting news. And furthermore, while actually on the topic of the Russian Navy, we've also gotten some news today, some breaking news that the Russian fleet has added yet another nuclear submarine to its arsenal. So we've gotten news today that Russia commissions the Kanyaz nuclear submarine. So you can see here in the bottom left corner, Russia has officially commissioned the Kanyaz nuclear submarine, a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, into its northern fleet today. The submarine was attended by President Vladimir Putin in Severodvinsk, this city right here. It marks a significant boost to Russia's strategic naval capabilities. It's equipped with 16 Bavalva missiles carrying up to 96 nuclear warheads. The submarine is supposed to strengthen Russia's nuclear deterrence in the Arctic amid raising geopolitical tensions. So Russia has added yet another nuclear submarine to its arsenal, joining the Northern Fleet. And maybe this nuclear submarine will join in the naval exercises that are happening right now. So very interesting news. And furthermore, now let's talk about Ukraine. So because I haven't been able to upload for a week, we're gonna have to go over some news that have been happening this week. And one of the biggest news that have been happening this week is obviously the Russian and Ukrainian third round of talks in Istanbul. So the Russian delegation met with the Ukrainian delegation for a third time now in Istanbul. So let's just go over their meeting. So the third round of Ukraine and Russian peace talks finished in Istanbul not so long ago. Ukraine proposes a Zelensky and Putin summit by August and pushes for a ceasefire. Over 1,200 to be exchanged in a humanitarian deal. Russia agrees to a swap 250 detainees per side and suggests a short-term ceasefires and 3 working groups for ongoing talks. No ceasefire breakthrough has been achieved, but Turkey is ready to continue mediation efforts. So, so after the negotiations, the head of the Russian delegation, Vladimir Medensky, made some statements after the talks between the Ukrainian and Russian side in Istanbul. So again, the head of the Russian delegation, Vladimir Medensky, stated after the negotiations, at the same time, an agreement was reached to continue contacts both at the delegation level and at the working groups. All agreements on humanitarian issues reached during the second round of negotiations in Istanbul have been fulfilled. We propose to form 3 working groups that will work online on political, humanitarian, and military issues. We once again propose to Ukraine to consider the issue of declaring a short ceasefire on the front line to collect the wounded and gather the bodies of their fighters. Every life is important to us, according to Vladimir Medensky. A prisoner exchange of 250 for 250 is being completed at the Ukrainian-Belarusian border. An exchange of at least 1,200 military personnel will be conducted in the near future. Russia has returned more than 7,000 bodies of the Ukrainian armed forces soldiers to the Ukrainian side and ready to provide even more. And we propose to Ukraine to transfer another 3,000 bodies of the seized Ukrainian soldiers. And Russia suggested again that Ukraine declare a short-term ceasefire for 20 to 24 hours to maybe 48 hours to evacuate the wounded and retrieve soldiers' bodies. So, very interesting news. The Ukrainian side laid out their priorities. They stated that this this third round negotiations was meant to get a ceasefire on the board, a Putin and Zelensky meeting, and that was the focus of the negotiation talks on the Ukrainian side. So, interesting news. We've also gotten some other breaking news this week that Australian Abrams tanks have just been spotted crossing into Ukraine from Poland. So quite a long time ago now, Australia promised Ukraine Abrams tanks, and Ukraine has officially delivered. So we've got news that Australian M1A1 Abrams tanks have arrived in Ukraine as part of a $245 million aid package to bolster its defense against Russia. And furthermore, the next news we'll be talking about today is coming from the capital city of Ukraine. So in the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, people are gathering on the streets to protest against the bill that would effectively eliminate the independence of anti-corruption organizations. So a lot of people, thousands and thousands of people all throughout Ukraine in major cities are now protesting on the streets. This is because Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has just signed a law dismantling Ukraine's National Anti-Corruption Bureau. So Bruno, I believe, is an independent anti-corruption service, and Zelensky has actually banned it. So Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has officially signed a bill that effectively eliminates the independence of the anti-corruption organizations. The bill has led to protests in various Ukrainian cities. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see protests in Kyiv, and they're showing no sign of dispersing as night falls, even when there's curfews. So even now, when I'm recording this, there's still thousands and thousands of people on the streets protesting this bill. Again, this bill that the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky signed eliminates the independence of the anti-corruption organizations. And furthermore, we've also gotten some breaking updates today that the EU is now withholding $1.7 billion in aid to Ukraine over corruption concerns, citing missed reform benchmarks, because Zelensky did sign this bill that effectively does get rid of independent searches of corruption in the Ukrainian parliament. and Ukraine officials. The EU is now withdrawing $1.7 billion in aid. And furthermore, the next news we'll be talking about today is coming from the United Kingdom. So we've got news that's for the first time since at least 2005. The US nuclear weapons have been deployed onto the territory of the United Kingdom, with sources reporting that several B-61-12 thermonuclear gravity bombs were transferred this week from the US Air Force Nuclear Weapons Center at Kirtland Air Force Base to the newly built nuclear weapons storage in England. So the B-61-12 is an advanced low-yield tactical nuclear gravity bomb that is able to be equipped by a number of aircraft, including the F-35A Lightning II jet, which is flown by both the 493rd Fighter Squadron and the 495 Fighter Squadron based at Lakenheath in England. So we've gotten some reports that for the first time since 2005, the US is now deploying tactical nuclear weapons in England. That is not the only news we've gotten from the UK today. The British government has also officially lowered the legal voting age from 18 to 16, according to the Deputy Prime Minister. So, the Labour government, led by Prime Minister Keir Starmer, has officially announced that 16 and 17-year-olds will be eligible to vote in all UK elections, including national parliament, local and devolved elections. So Labour argues that 16 and 17-year-olds already hold significant responsibilities, such as working, paying taxes, joining the military and drinking alcohol with meals, so they deserve voting rights, according to Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of England. So, interesting news. The next news we've got today is coming from the French Republic. So we've got news that France officially hands over its last military bases in Senegal. So, France has transferred Camp Gilly military base back to Senegal, completing its military withdrawal and ending decades of presence in the country. The move strengthens Senegal's sovereignty and signals a shift in Franco-Senegalese ties. So, France has officially withdrawn all of its military out of the African country of Senegal, and this ends the 65 years of French military presence in Senegal. So very interesting news. We've also got some breaking updates today that the approval for the French President Macron has reached a new low. Only 19% approve while 81% disapprove. So the French president reaches an all-time low in disapproval. But even though with that, just today we've got news that President Macron of France announces that France will recognize a Palestinian state. So France is officially going to be recognizing a Palestinian state. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated that the French decision to recognize the state of Palestine rewards terror. And furthermore, just hours after Macron made his statement, maybe 6 to maybe 7 hours later, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, claims that he will also recognize Palestine. So, very interesting news. Furthermore, the next news we'll be talking about today is coming from Turkey. So we've got news that Germany has officially approved a delivery of 40 Eurofighter Typhoon fighter aircraft to Turkey. We've also got news that Turkey will also be receiving some Eurofighter Typhoon fighter jets also from the UK. So the Turkish Defence Minister and the UK Defence Secretary John Healey signed a memorandum of understanding for the procurement of the Eurofighter Typhoon jets, marking a significant step in bilateral defence cooperation. So Turkey is about to receive 40 Eurofighter Typhoon aircrafts from Germany and is also going to be receiving some dozens of said aircraft from Britain as well. We've also gotten some news today coming from Gaza and Israel. So we've got news today that Israeli authorities have officially allowed other countries to start dropping humanitarian aid for residents of the Gaza Strip for from aeroplanes. So we can see here in your bottom left corner, we can see both Israel and Arab countries are now supply dropping Gaza with humanitarian aid. But during previous similar operations, dozens of people were killed and injured as a result of falling cargo. And furthermore, the next news we'll be talking about today is coming from Australia, which I apparently forgot to add on the map. But we've got news today that on July the 24th to July the 25th, the United Kingdom and Australia have just signed a bilateral 50-year defence treaty under the broader UK-US framework to jointly develop and build nuclear-powered, non-nuclear armed submarines. So while the United States is not a party of this treaty, it remains engaged in the UK-US treaty partnership providing critical technology and submarines to Australia. So Britain and Australia signed a historic 50-year treaty to build nuclear-powered submarines under the UK-US partnership. And according to Australia, Australia signed this due to ongoing aggression from China. So interesting news. And furthermore, the last news we'll be talking about today is coming from the United States of America. So we've got news today that the US President Donald Trump announces a new trade deal with the Philippines. So the US will pay 0 tariffs and the Philippines will pay 19% tariffs from the US. The Philippines will also be cooperating more in the military field. And the US President reduced tariffs for the Philippines from 20% to 19%. So, very interesting news. We've also got news today that Donald Trump also announces another trade deal, but this time with Indonesia. Donald Trump has announced that he'll be eliminating 99% of tariff barriers with Indonesia. The US sells American goods without tariffs, and the US will be supplying critical minerals to Indonesia as well. The last news we've gotten today is that Donald Trump has also landed in Scotland, in the UK, and is set to meet with the UK Prime Minister and tour golf courses as well. So, the President of the United States has just landed in Scotland, where he first warned Europe about immigration and encouraged more cooperation between the United States and Europe. And that's all the news I actually have for you today. Again, apologies that I haven't been able to upload for the past week. This video is probably a lot longer than usual. So, again, thank you very much for watching. If you like what I do here, please like and subscribe. I'm Non-C News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. Please consider donating in the link in the description below if you want to help me personally. And again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.